So welcome back. What we had done in the last one or two lectures was define what we mean by the derivative of a function from Rn to Rk. So let me just write this down again. Definition: f from Rn to Rk is differentiable at A in Rn if there exists a B, which is a linear map from Rn to Rk such that f A plus h minus f A minus B times h norm in Rk divided by norm h, which is in Rn, limit h tending to 0, not h in Rn tending to 0 is 0. And we say B is the derivative of f. So remember, the derivative of f at a point is a linear map between Rn and Rk in this setup. And as I had mentioned in the passing, this definition can also hold when instead of Rn and Rk, you have infinite dimensional Hilbert spaces or Banach spaces or anything like that. Okay? In the case when you have finite dimensions, then the derivative can be expressed in terms of a matrix consisting of the partial derivatives of f. In finite dimensions, matrix representation of derivative of f at A is d f I by dxj at A, the 1 less than I less than k and 1 less than j less than n. When f is under certain, when the partial derivatives exists, and are continuous. Okay, so there is this connection between the linear map and the matrix, and in a lot of calculations we actually want to use the derivative as being a matrix when we want to write down the matrix, but conceptually, as I mentioned, you must always think about the derivative as being a linear map. There is another idea that you have come across earlier, which I should point out to you, which is what does this have to do with directional derivatives? So this is a question that I will leave to you to think about, that what is this definition? What does this definition mean when you're talking about directional derivatives? And what we have is that if the derivative exists, then all the directional derivative exists. But if all the directional derivatives exist, all the directional derivatives may exist without the function being differentiable at that point. So this is something that you can see, which you should keep in mind, that what we are talking about is something that is stronger, much stronger than the fact that the directional derivatives all exist. Okay, so this is what I meant by this derivative, and derivative of a function is a linear map, is what we have to keep in mind. Derivative of function is df at A, which is a linear map from Rn to Rk. So here itself I want to ask a question, what is a second derivative? second. And when we start thinking about the second derivative in this setup, we will understand why it is very important to think about the derivative as being a linear map. Notice that this linear map from Rn to Rk is itself a n times k dimensional vector space. So this itself, derivative y at A itself is an element in a n times k dimensional vector space. Maybe it will be better to write it as a k times n dimensional vector space. So in the last lecture, we had come to the stage of, it was an exercise which says that if you have an inner product, so the exercise was that if IP denotes the inner product on Rn, this is the inner product on Rn. And what is an inner product? It is the map which says IP at xy is equal to the inner product of x and y, which is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n of xi, yi. This is the usual inner product on Rn. X and y are vectors in Rn. They have components x1 to xn and y1 to yn respectively. Then, I had left this as an exercise which I hope that you had done. The statement is that the derivative of the function IP. So IP is the inner product. What I'm taking is the derivative of the function inner product. What is the function inner product? Remember, the inner product is a map. I should have said this earlier. The inner product is a map from Rn cross Rn to R. So, in this definition, the Rn that we have here is replaced by the vector space Rn cross Rn, which is R to n. But I want to keep the first set of n variables separate from the second set of n variables, and therefore I'm calling it x and y. Remember, x is in Rn, y is in Rn, and xy is in Rn cross Rn, which is R to n. So, this is the function I'm talking about, inner product. Derivative of the inner product at a point in Rn cross Rn. So, which point will I choose? The point I will choose is a comma b. So, derivative of the inner product at a point a comma b. Where is a? A is in Rn and b is in Rn. This quantity should be a linear map from Rn cross Rn, that is R to n, to R. So, maybe I should write it down this way. This quantity is an element in linear maps from Rn cross Rn to R. So I should tell you what it does at a point in Rn cross Rn, the linear vector space Rn cross Rn, which is R to n. So I'm going to evaluate it at 2 points hk. H comma k is in Rn cross Rn, that means h is in Rn and k is in Rn. And the exercise was that the derivative of the inner product at the point AB evaluated at hk is equal to the inner product of h with b plus the inner product of a with k. So remember, this is a very nice structure of the derivative of an inner product. So you must try to do this exercise on your own, and it is not particularly difficult, but what you'll get out of this is actually quite interesting. Derivative of the function inner product at a point AB evaluated at a point in Rn cross Rn is the inner product at h comma b, I hope I have that right, yes, plus the inner product of a comma k. So, what was special about the inner product? What is special about the inner product is that it is a bilinear map. So, the statement we have is actually a statement about bilinear maps. And in fact, it is a statement about multilinear maps. So, I'll decide inner product is bilinear. And we had also defined what we meant by a K multilinear map on Rn. Okay? So we'll stop here and continue again. So we saw last time what the derivative of the inner product is. Inner product is a bilinear map. What is the meaning of a bilinear map? It means that if you keep one of the variables fixed and look at it as a function of only one variable, the other variable, then as a function of the other variable, it is linear. This is exactly the same as the definition of what we mean by a multilinear map. So, definition, f from Rn cross Rn, this is k times, say k times to R is K multilinear if you take f. This is actually a function on which dimensional space? It is a function on a n times k dimensional space. But I want to think of it as those n times k dimensional space. I want to think of it as broken up into k vectors, each of which are in Rn. So the statement is that f of au plus bv, comma x2, comma xk is equal to a times f of u x2 xk plus b times f of v x2 xk, and this should also be true. This is saying that it is linear in the first variable when the other variables are kept fixed. Similarly, you want it for each of the other variables. For each n tuple of variables x1. So this is not an n tuple. This is for each k tuple of variables x1 to xk, each of which are elements in Rn. So f is k multilinear if this happens. What is the example of what is the most important example of a multilinear map that you have? When n is equal to 2, the most important example is the inner product. Okay? In 3 dimensions, you also have a trilinear map. A trilinear map in 3 dimensions, which you have come across earlier. And that 3-dimensional trilinear map is called the cross product. So here itself, let me just write down cross product. N is equal to k is equal to 3 is an example of a trilinear map. Trilinear. And in fact, you also know that the cross product has something to do with determinants. So the most important example that you have is when k is equal to n. When k is equal to n, there is a map that you have from Rn cross Rn, this is n times, to R. Remember, each of these are a vector in Rn. And that map you have is called determinant. So determinant is a map from Rn cross Rn cross Rn to R. And determinant is a n multilinear map on Rn. Okay? Is n multilinear. We will have a lot to do with determinants as time goes on. So determinant is an n multilinear map on Rn. And in the same way that we had talked about the derivative of the inner product, which is a bilinear map, the exercise you should try and do at this stage is to find out what the derivative of a k multilinear map on Rn is going to be. So the exercise is that suppose P from Rn cross Rn, this is k times is k multilinear. Then the derivative of t at a point here. Remember, these are n vector. These are sorry. I want k equal to n. I don't want k equal to n. K is any general thing, so I think I should erase this. K is equal to n for determinant. If T is a k multilinear map on Rn, then the derivative of T at a point. So I should choose a point here. So which is the point that I will choose? I will choose the point A1, AK. Where are these A1s to AKs? Each of these A's are in Rn. A1 is in Rn, A2 is in Rn, and so on. The derivative of T at a point should be a linear map from this space to R. So I should be able to tell you what the value of T is at some point here. So I will choose a point here. What is the point that I will choose? H1 up to Hk. So derivative of T at A1 to AK evaluated at H1 to Hk. Each A1 is in Rn. Each H1, H2 and Hk, each H1 to Hk is in Rn. This should be a real number. And if you just think about it, there is something very natural that I should write on this side if I know what the derivative of the inner product is. So just spend 2 minutes thinking about this, and then you should be able to convince yourself that the derivative of a k multilinear map evaluated at this point, evaluated at these vectors is equal to T of H1, A2, AK plus T of A1, H2, A3 up to AK plus, so I'll put dot plus T of A1, AK minus 1, HK. So just try to think about this a little bit. It just sort of follows from the definition, essentially. Okay? So what I'm doing here is, in the first term, I'm omitting A1. In the second term, I'm omitting A2. So in the first one, I'm omitting A1 and replacing it by H1. In the second term, I'm omitting A2 from A1 to AK and replacing it by H2. In the kth term, I'm omitting AK and I'm evaluating T at A1 to AK minus 1 HK. So this is the derivative of T at a point. Try and do this exercise. And therefore, we now know that the derivative of determinant so for k equal to n, we now know what the derivative of the determinant is. So this is a very easy calculation. Okay? Once you know you have done it for the inner product, you can do it for any k multilinear map on Rn. In particular, determinant is an n multilinear map on Rn, and therefore you will be able to say that exercise determinant is a map. It is a map from Rn cross Rn n times to R. Determinant is a map from Rn cross Rn to R. And the exercise is that the derivative of determinant at a point A1, An, evaluated at H1, Hn. Remember, each of these AIs are in Rn, each of these Hns are in Rn, is equal to summation determinant A1, AI minus 1, Hi, AI plus 1, An, I equal to 1 to n. Now, this is where I'm trying to, you must be able to convince yourself that the definition of the derivative as a linear map is the right thing to make, is the right way of considering this. Because just try and prove what the derivative of the determinant is, even in the case when n equal to 3 or n equal to 4, in terms of partial derivatives. So the exercise here is think of the derivative of determinant even in the three-dimensional case. So determinant, this is the n-dimensional determinant because you have an n by n matrix. So think of derivative of the function determinant, which is in the three-dimensional case. That means it has 9 entries because it's a 3 by 3 matrix. So it has 9 entries. And you try to find out what the determinant is, derivative of the determinant is at some point. Let me give you some matrix. It's 3. So I should give you a 3 by 3 matrix here. So I'll give you this matrix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And let me assure you that if you try to calculate this in terms of partial derivatives, you will be in a mess. But please try and do this. You should convince yourself that you are in a mess. We'll stop here.